Americans of Reddit, what would you do if the United States were invaded? Probably work from home that day. Traffic would be a bitch. So anyway, I started blastin'. Continue with my day, it would last about 7 minutes. Laugh at all the resulting memes. This country is so goddamn full of hate for ourselves. And you want to give a reason to turn that outward? Lol. I know I'm probably a little biased here, but we're essentially defended on both sides by mountains. And angry rednecks who have spent multiple generations hoping and praying someone would be dumb enough to attack. The largest air force in the world is the United States Air Force. The second largest air force in the world is the United States Navy. What am I doing? Watching the fireworks. People with ADHD. What is something you do that you thought everyone else did but found out it's because you have ADHD? Stare at people and try to focus very hard on what they're saying only to realize a whole whopping zero meaning is going into my brain despite understanding each word individually. Either these things are normal or I have ADHD. Apparently being sleepy from coffee. Thinking about other things while reading. I could read a whole page of a textbook. Like say all the words in my head, but I wouldn't process any of the information because my mind was elsewhere. Had to reread the page a few times cause I kept spacing out while doing it. Stop and subconsciously zone out. Let my vision blur for a few secs. Sitting in my car because it's hard for me to transition. Look for dopamine everywhere where even if there's nothing around me I'll start making up random word games so I'm not bored. Hyper-focusing on something for hours without realizing. Then immediately losing interest in it either because of a distraction or sudden inexplicable boredom. What is a food you could eat every day and not get bored of? Bread, baguette bread. Asterisk potatoes. Asterisk boil 'em. Mash 'em. Stick 'em in a stew. Lovely big golden chips with a nice piece of fried fish. Tacos. Freshly baked bread with butter. Sandwiches. Pizza. Every day, everywhere, every way. If women were to disappear for a year, or even more, how would life be like? You might find these novels interesting. Asterisk The Disappearance by Philip Wiley. Asterisk The White Plague by Frank Herbert. Lonely without my wife and 2 daughters. There would be a massive healthcare worker shortage. I'd still be kissing the homies. If I know they're gone for a year, I'm in the gym getting ready for the re-emergence. If they vanish and I'm clueless, I probably just live in comfier, less stylish clothes. 2 things. 1. I would miss my wife. 2. Target would go out of business. What are unsuccessful people doing wrong? One huge factor that I've noticed is delayed gratification. The successful people I know are totally fine doing something that sucks right now that will be good for them later. Like exercise consistently or actually finish school. While others won't do it because it sucks. Networking. My biggest piece of advice for anyone is to network and burn as few bridges as possible. Speaking from experience, everything. How they treat failure. I've watched friends hit a small bump in the road that successful people might not even notice, or just treat as a necessary part of getting where they are trying to be. But those friends treat this as a complete failure and immediately drop it and move on to something else, or nothing at all. After a bunch of these, they become bitter and view the world as against them, not realizing that many other people hit the same challenges but just work through them. They are stuck near a local maximum. Examples. Low hourly pay because they have to work too many hours to have time to develop skills to make more per hour. Because they don't make enough per hour to work less. Are focused on climbing a long, slow ladder. where it simply would take too long to climb it that way for it to be legitimately possible to get to the top that way. This is because it's what society tells you to do, and other paths to skip lots of rungs are risky and not advertised. They are working hard on something that isn't very valued. Probably the most common. Switching is then hard for them to accept because they've become good at that thing. They are working hard on something that they aren't actually very good at. Often because they don't like it. They have to work hard on things other than work, like kids or other family, and thus can't focus on getting where they want to go. They are comfortable where they are and don't care to work harder, which is respectable. Probably doesn't have successful parents. Guidance since childhood is fucking golden and super underrated. What existed 10 years ago but is gone or obsolete now? Single topic blogs. Remember those? Subscribe, my brothers.